Uh, Thank you. And I'm very excited to be here because I came here at AWE in the 2014 for the first time. I met Oliver Diaz, the CEO of Fuel.Tech, and after that I joined the company as director of AR, and now after 3 years we are here back to show what we are doing in the field of oil and gas. Fuel.Tech is a company based in Houston, and what we do, our mission is to help companies to better communicate and contextualize information by using new technologies. And we start about 10 years ago as a communication, media, and marketing communication company. And during these 10 years, we evolved and we start using new technologies, and now we are more software companies, and we work in the field of augmented reality and virtual reality. So, speaking about technologies, what we think is that 3D content are, around 3D content, there are a lot of technologies that they are just gravitating around it. And at the beginning, it was just 3D animation that we were able to visualize on a web, on a PC, or on a mobile. But little by little, we start integrating new technologies, and we start with VR, by integrating immersive technologies, some new interaction, and some networking solutions, like networking solution to pull content or save data in a cloud, or to communicate between different users. And then with AR, we start integrating new technologies like intrinsically safe mobile devices, and now also some intrinsically safe wearable devices. And then on the networking side, we have tracking technologies that they use servers and IoT devices. So what we think of Fuel.Tech is that augmented reality is a communication tool. And in the field of oil and gas, it can be used on different purposes. So when we think about augmented reality on oil and gas, we usually think about operators with a wearable device and a helmet doing something in the field. But it's not really that. We can use augmented reality on different purposes, like marketing, like communication on different kinds of level, training, and of course operation. And operation is the most complex one and the most challenging one. When I talk about communication tools also on different levels, so again, not only field workers, but manager and supervisors, or augmented reality to help engineers to visualize complex objects, and also on C-level, executive levels, it can be a very useful communication tool. And finally, is not in oil and gas, is not only intrinsically safe devices, wearable devices, it's also augmented reality that runs on different platforms, different hardware, so also mobile and wearable that is not intrinsically safe. So here I have a few examples of what we did in the last year. So the first one is a very simple example of what we did with Schaefer. It's a marketing tool, so a simple application that you can also download on Google Play, where you can visualize some of their tools. So it was very useful to close some sales. But then we moved to HoloLens, and we are working a lot on HoloLens with ExxonMobil, and this is one example of what we did with them. This is a sort of presentation tool where we are able to visualize complex information like related to geological information, and some issues in a very easy way. And this was used on a C-level for executives to take some decision and to have an easier way to communicate this kind of problem. And this is VR, but it's a good talking point. Again, with ExxonMobil, we are working on this training tool that is very flexible, and it's a training tool for to train operators in any kind of condition, also conditions that are not ideal. And I say that it's flexible because we can work on different parameters, so change the simulation of the environment and also randomize some of the variables. When I talk about communication, here with HoloLens, we have we develop a tool again in collaboration with ExxonMobil, where we visualize complex models. In this case, it's a tool for engineers, so we can visualize models that are not on a blueprint or on the flat screen of a CAD software. Here we can visualize the model in the real space, and then we continue this collaboration, and we extend this tool. Now it's also a collaborative tool, so the same object is locked in the space, and multiple engineers can see the same object at the same time in the same location and interact, collaborate, and eventually have a very easy tool to visualize the object and improve the design. In the field of operation and training, we developed and launched Gnosis, which is our electronic procedure platform. So it's a platform where you can use and create a procedure in an electronic format, upload it in our cloud service, and then distribute the procedure on multiple kinds of devices. And here is an example that with our first client, NOV, National Oilwell Varco. And now we are also porting the same application, Gnosis, on HoloLens, on wearable devices. So as you can see in the image, the user interface that we usually have on a tablet, now we have it floating in the air because of HoloLens. So according to our experience, we can say that, also Scott said that augmented reality is a hot topic, in particular in the oil and gas. And what we can say is that oil and gas companies are working to move to new technologies. They are trying to improve the use of technology. And so the question is now, what oil and gas what is oil and gas looking, what they really want? And I can say that as a company, we think that there are three important things that they are looking. The first one is content. They want to be able to dynamically load content and have tools to easily manage this content on the device. What they have that they can provide us is our CAD models. And also, right now, a lot of oil and gas companies are working to improve their network. So they are also working on improving and having high-speed connection, high-speed internet on oil rigs. So I can say that as a augmented reality community, what we can offer in the near future are converters to automatically get the CAD model and convert it in a tessellated model that we can use on our devices, and work on augmented reality applications that are flexible, so they can dynamically load and visualize objects that we can download, for example, from a cloud service. The next thing is the computer vision. So in oil and gas, most of the time we have requests of tracking 3D objects and also recognizing big environments like a facility, or deal with multiple objects, a variety of objects. And again, what oil and gas companies have right now are CAD models that they can provide us to use for tracking, but also point clouds. If you're familiar with the concept of digital twin, they are working on basically digitizing a lot of their assets. And again, as a community, what we can do, we can offer are more sophisticated algorithms that right now, for example, Vuforia launched the 3D CAD tracking, or new artificial intelligence solutions to detect the position and recognize objects. And finally, another big point is devices. In oil and gas, they ask about safety, which is for data and also for safety of the user. Then very strict ergonomic conditions and also interoperability. What they have right now is that, what I can say is that a lot of oil and gas companies have this policy now that is called bring your own device. So that's why I'm talking about interoperability. And another thing is they don't really need intrinsically safe devices everywhere, as I showed in the previous example. So what we can offer, again as a community, are solutions that are device agnostic. So solutions that they can work on mobile and also wearable. And for this reason, they have to, we must deliver applications that they can work on different kind of interaction. If you are working on a tablet, you have to tap. But if the application runs on a wearable device, we have to enable voice or gestures. And of course, as you can imagine, a lot of oil and gas companies are, all of them are very jealous about their data, so we have to work on that data encryption. So, to conclude, I can say that oil and gas is a very big ecosystem, so there are a lot of moving parts. So there is not a unique solution for augmented reality. What we can say is that augmented reality can solve different issues in the oil and gas. And what we believe is that augmented reality is a solution to better communicate on different levels, on different purposes inside these kind of companies. And as I try to show in this presentation, is that augmented reality is a point of convergence of different technologies. We are talking about IoT, we are talking about different kinds of tracking technology, a different kind of hardware. Okay, thank you very much for the time, and I'll be around if you have questions about it.